often asked what was my motivation for writing the novel Paper Puzzle. There are two primary motivations for this book. One incident occurred when I was 5 years old, the other later in life when I worked as a young journalist. First, the incident at age 5, I grew up on a farm. I lived with my grandparents who were farmers, and one day in the mid-1950s, I went into town with them so that they could buy their supplies at the general store. The shopkeeper had a 5-year-old grandson about the same age as I was that day, and he had this small car that he was playing with, so he and I naturally began to play together because we were about the same age. And as we were rolling around on the floor playing with this car, the car rolled under the counter where the cash register was located, and my grandmother went into panic mode. She was very frightful. She was yelling and screaming for me to come back from the other side of the counter, and then she began to plead with the shop owner that I hadn't done anything wrong, didn't intend to do anything wrong, that I did not take anything out of the cash register. I was a little perplexed by all of this and didn't understand what was going on. So when she got me back home, she set me aside and explained to me racism. She explained to me something about a character called Jim Crow. And she told me that because I had black skin, that this society prohibited me from doing certain things. And if I crossed a certain line, it could be deemed as a very aggressive act, or that I was trying to steal or take something, even as a 5-year-old. She also told me that the young boy that I was playing with could do other things because his skin was lighter. That perplexed me. Didn't quite understand it. Couldn't quite wrap my head around racism, or why people were different from one another based upon skin color. So that set me on a lifelong journey to try to figure out why people were different and why they couldn't get along a little bit better in spite of whatever differences that they may have had. Whether that was age or race or sex or national origin or religion. I tried to figure that out. Anyone who had a diversity issue, why did certain groups treat other groups differently because they didn't share a commonality of culture and so forth. So as a result of that lifelong search, I created a series of characters in Paper Puzzle that explores the social mores of the segregated South and the post-segregated South. And as a result of that, I hope that by shedding light on that time period, that it will enable us to learn how to deal with diversity issues as we move into the 21st century. The second factor that led to the creation of this creative work was that as a young journalist living in my hometown of Macon, Georgia, when a new African-American journalist came to town, in order to get them acclimated to the city and to show friendship towards them, I would invite them over to my mother's house for Sunday dinner following church service on that particular Sunday. And as a result of that, that gave us a sense of continuity between for those new people coming into town. And then we decided that we would have our own social hour where we would bring a creative project, and that each member of the group would dissect and criticize the work of the others. And I remember on the second occasion when we had our meeting, a gentleman had come down from Atlanta who had worked at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and for reasons unbeknownst to me, he really took issue with my creative project and literally tore it to shreds. And as a result of that failure, nothing in my lifetime, nothing has caused me to succeed like a failure or a disappointment. So I vowed that evening that I would write the next great American novel. So I started anew and began this story, Paper Puzzle, put it aside for about 30 years while I ended law school and practiced as a lawyer for about 20 years. And then about 2007, I picked up this manuscript and I completed it. So So those were the two motivations which motivated me to write the novel Paper Puzzle. I've been asked many questions as I have gone out at book signings and book readings over the past few months, and I will be glad to entertain any of those questions from any aspiring writers or anyone who is interested in learning more about Paper Puzzle and the creative process that went into developing this novel. All you have to do is just hit me up on Facebook or on Twitter, pose your question to me, and in a day or so I'll get back to you. Enjoyed talking with you, and you guys have a great day now.